Hello and welcome to Kitterick Farms. We're back with another episode of Flint Hills by JS Mapping, and we've done a little bit of work here off camera. We've had our lime spreader out in this field overnight working on getting the lime spread so that we can start tillage off in this big field because let's be honest, tillage is going to take a little while here. And so if we take a look here, once he gets unfolded, I believe this is going to be a very, very long course here. 3 hours and 32 minutes. So at some point here, we really got to get some more tillage equipment. But for the time being, we're going to let him go on and do his thing. We're going to go ahead and just grab this guy and have him come park over near the rest of our equipment here, since we are going to need to lime this one other cornfield once we get it harvest. And I think that the plan for today is to knock out our last field of corn harvest here. It should go pretty quick. It's a pretty small field, so I'm not sure we even are going to need to use Courseplay for everything in this field. I think we'll probably end up doing the bulk of the carting ourselves. And you might notice that we are now in the negative for money. When the day cycled over here, we went negative from the loans that we've got taken out. And we are at the maximum for our loan right now. So we can't take out any more money for our loan. 2.805 million is the maximum, apparently. So while we work on that, we're going to be able to sell some of our corn here soon. If we look at the sell prices here, typically second day of winter, second day of winter seems to be pretty high. That's wheat though. For corn, it's third day of winter here looks to be the high point. And so we've only got a couple more days that we got to kind of survive through to start pulling some money in. And so I think we're going to be in a good spot. Before we can start harvesting, however, we're going to need to let these crops dry out a little bit. And so we're going to run the clock up just a smidge. It took a while, but our field is finally ready for harvest. So we're going to go ahead and generate a new course here. I'm not sure how much corn we're going to get out of this field, but I feel like probably a few trucks worth. Luckily, we've got two different grain carts and two trucks here, so I think what I want to do is go ahead and just run these trucks up here closer to the top of the field here, because that's where we're going to be unloading into them. And then we'll probably set one of these grain carts up just as a buffer into the trucks, so that at some point here, maybe we'll set up a Courseplay course for all this. It really is going to depend on, I think, how much corn we start to get off of this field. So I think the plan is going to be to just leave this truck somewhere right in here, and we will get this second combine going real quick. If we just clear the previous course, we should be able to pull this one right off of the other combine. And everything's still all set up from our previous field harvested. So I should be able to just bring it over here and tell him to get going. All right, so starting a second worker turned out to be not as easy as I thought. But we figured it out. We've generated some new courses. We've got both of our combines moving here. So I think at this point we're going to jump into the grain cart and see what we can do to keep them moving. I think we're probably harvesting at about 8 miles an hour right now. So we're going to set our cruise control here. We're going to unload this guy a little bit as we're driving along beside him here. And then we'll speed up here to the other end of the field and see if I can catch that combine. I'm kind of actually hoping he's going to stop and be full here before he gets to the corner. Doesn't look like it. Maybe we're going to speed up here and try and deal with him. Oh, he is going to get full. Perfect. I really didn't want to have to deal with him going around the corner there and being alongside the fence. that would have been a little inconvenient for unloading. And so we're just going to zip down here real quick, get him unloaded, and let him continue opening this field up. And then we'll head back down and unload his buddy there. I think I might actually be just a little bit too close. There we go. I always forget how long of a pipe these X9s have. It works out great when we've got the 60-foot headers on there for cutting beans, but the corn headers always deceive me. Looks like we're all emptied out, so we're gonna rush to get out of the way here before he tries to scoop us up with the header. We've had a couple incidences of that here trying to get everything started off, so we definitely want to avoid the aggressive combine heads here. And we should just make this guy before he gets full and has to stop, which is perfect timing. We are a little close. Let's get over here. And there we go. Doing good. Right on time here with the unload. I'll be curious to see if we can manage to cut all the way down to the end with the other combine here. We're going to be following along here, I think, unloading this guy. He's pretty full at this point. Go ahead and let him make this corner, and then we'll unload some more on the way down. Looks like we're all filled up here. So we're going to go ahead and run all the way back up to dump this off into one of the semis. I'm hoping there's enough ditch here for me to squeeze by without having to run all the way out on the road here. It doesn't look like it. This is a pretty steep ditch, so we're going to sneak out here, put our pipe in, and hopefully not get rear-ended by anybody. Once we get this field opened up, it should be a lot easier to get over to these semis. Kind of interesting that I can see the corn through the side of the semi there. A little disorienting. Lots of texturing issues here on this part of the map too, so we're just experiencing all kinds of technical difficulties here. And I think what I'm going to do is actually put it into this trailer for the time being. There's a little bit of a dip there, and I don't really want to be dealing with falling into it, although it looks like we are going to crash into our buddy here just a smidge. And after a very, very long wait unloading this grain cart, we are finally back to moving here. We got the lead combine unloaded. We're going to unload this guy in the back, and we should be just about ready to let them kind of get going on normal rows here. I think I only did one headland pass on the new course here, so this should be plenty wide for them to be turning around and doing what they need to do. We're just about full, so I'm going to go ahead and pull over here and start dumping into this other grain cart. We're going to kind of use it as a buffer into the trucks. And while that's unloading, we're going to go ahead and grab the pickup with the fuel trailer here, because this 8RX is getting a little bit low on fuel. So I want to make sure we get it topped off. It looks like the combines are getting started on their up-down rows, so they'll probably get stuck at least once here while they're getting started off, because I didn't get a chance to really unload that lead combine, but it looks like he's going to make the cut, so I think I should end with his auger in an open spot, allowing me to unload him here shortly. And it looks like our front hopper on this semi got filled up, so we're going to go ahead and pull the semi forward and get this grain cart emptying out into the back hopper of this semi. And once that's full, we'll probably send him on to the bin site here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this back semi started up as well, because it looks like we're going to have enough grain to probably fill both of these semis up, which is really good for us. And then if I come over here, I believe the 8RX should be full on fuel, and I can get this pickup pulled back out of the way. We're doing the good old equipment shuffle here, making sure we keep things moving and grooving. And this front semi should be just about full now. We're at 91%. So as soon as this is full, we're going to go ahead and send him on his way. We've got this course still loaded up from when we were doing the field next to us here. So I'm going to go ahead and just say start driving at first waypoint. He should figure it out. And we need to go ahead and just pull this other truck forward. We had it already fired up, so we should be good to go. If I can just pull right under this auger. And we're going to let him do his thing. And we're going to hop back in the 8RX and make sure that we are going to unload this combine, because I think this guy is sitting here right on the end all filled up and waiting for us. Ignore this random cut into stuff. I think that was something that happened in one of our failed attempts to get the course going. We should be able to do a pretty quick job of unloading him down this run, since he's only picking up one row of corn. And it's going to let our other guy keep coming in behind us, so hopefully I can whip back around right away here and start unloading this other guy before he gets to the end. It'd be nice to just get both of these guys going. We seem to have quite a bit more corn in here when the combine is full than I expected, though. And so it looks like we're quickly approaching 40%. So we're not quite going to make it back here for the end, but I am going to be able to catch him right after he turns around and unload him. Then I'll probably just head back and start dumping this into the truck and get that second truck going back to the bins. I think we're going to be hard pressed to keep up with these two semis and run the trucks here. And so I'm thinking maybe we'll leave the trucks on Courseplay and just set up a leave the other grain cart there as kind of a buffer. I know a lot of people like to call that a mother bin style, and we'll just let Courseplay kind of do its thing. I think the truck course should be able to handle pulling the trucks forward to fill them up if I don't have Courseplay running for the unloader. So we're going to test that theory out here in just a moment. I think it's going to work just fine. And with these super short rows, the combines are doing a little bit more driving than harvesting, so we should be in a pretty good spot here. In fact, I'm going to just go ahead and park this guy right here for a second and make sure that we're getting this semi fully topped off. I don't think that what's left in this other grain cart is going to be quite enough to fill us up. So I think we're going to need to take a little bit out of our other grain cart just to top us off. Oh, we're coming in close. Oh, we made it 100%. And so what I'm going to do is tell this guy to start at the nearest waypoint, and I'm going to go just past our other semi here. And that should allow me to send this guy back to the farm. And then I want to do exactly what we were doing, which is use this 8RT as our mother bin and just put him right up here and let Courseplay handle running the trucks. We should be able to stay away from having to micromanage the trucks in any capacity. Something like that ought to work. We should probably shut our 8RT off though. And if we bring our 8RX up here to unload, I think we'll be able to see if this semi is going to pull forward when the front hopper is full. I think 600 and some odd bushels should be enough. Oops, we ran right into him. And this is the problem with these grain carts. The spouts are just a smidge too short for my liking. We can probably mitigate this a little bit. I left my 8RT kind of crooked here. If I just straighten the 8RT out a bit, it should run a little bit smoother for me as I pull up alongside him. And the true test is, as the front hopper on this blue truck gets full, is he going to pull forward to fill the back hopper up on his own? It doesn't look like it. So we will likely have to manage that ourselves. I guess that's okay. We'll leave those trucks kind of there. We don't have enough to send them on their way anyway right now, I don't think. So we're going to go ahead and grab this combine here. I just realized we didn't have crop destruction on. We turned it off while we were fixing our courses. So I'm going to turn that back on because it's super awesome when the grain cart is running over the stalks and leaving tracks everywhere. And we've already got our flashers on, so if I can just sneak right in here, we should be able to get him unloaded super quick. I'm not sure where this other combine is going though. He must need to try and grab that little tiny bit up there in the corner. Either way, it should give me a chance to unload him in a more convenient spot. I was worried he was going to be the one trying to cut through the next land section. If I take a look here, looks like we're about to empty this guy out. So we should be able to whip back around here and go catch up with this other combine. I'm hoping he can take out that little tiny piece and meet me right back over here on the long rows. So we're going to see if I can get fully turned around here before he catches up to us and rams into us. And we're going to leave enough width there to hopefully unload. I just want to jump into this guy. He seems to be going kind of slow on the headlands here. Seems to have it under control though. Haha, looks like we put him in just the right spot. Could not have lined that up better if I wanted to. Alright, here's another full grain cart, so the good thing about parking this over here is we're going to be able to just cut straight across. And I think the intent was to plow these two together and then kind of chop this tip off from the other field to make our lives a little bit easier with the Courseplay generation moving forward. Balance our fields out just a smidge. So I think we'll be working on that here at some point in the not too distant future. Looks like I got the cart just out of alignment. So we're going to park that there, get it started. We're going to pull forward on helper G here. And with another truck full, we're going to send him on his way. And ideally, the next truck should just pull right in here and do its thing. At a minimum, get started on the unloading process here. He looks a little bit farther away than the other guy was for some reason. I do not understand why that would be, but we're going to just move our mother bin grain cart concept over a little bit to match, and hopefully this will work fine for future iterations and we're not going to have to keep moving it. I would really hate to have to keep monkeying with it every time. And it looks like we're all full up over here, so I got to figure out how to get into the new cut in and unload these guys. So we're going to zip down here and do our best to get these combines moving again. All right, so we've put the grain cart on a course to keep the combines moving so that we could deal with the trucks here a little bit. I was kind of hoping the trucks would figure out how to pull forward under this grain cart. I'm not sure. I think there's an issue with these, either the trailers or the grain cart, one of the two, but they're not acting quite how I'd expect, so we're just going to manage these ourselves just a little bit to keep things moving. We want to make sure we can get this field off today. We are running out of autumn. We're pushing into winter next time, and we are running a geo that could end in snow. And so I don't really want to get snowed out of our last field. We're significantly in debt right now, so we do need to make sure that our money goes as far as possible. And these semis stop at different points, which is really disorienting. So we're going to go ahead and start this guy up and just back him up, I guess, to start filling this semi. So we've got the grain cart emptied out, but I'm seeing quite the hang up here at the end of the field. And so once again, the latest version of Courseplay, yeah, not exactly doing good things for us. How does this even happen? Come on now. What? We're unstuck. I'm gonna just finish unloading him manually and then send this grain cart back to unload, I guess. I am definitely thinking I'm gonna go back to the .23 version of Courseplay that I was using before this. We ran this field, or we ran the other field without having any issues for like an hour straight, and so the fact that we've had so many issues with Courseplay in so short a time, even running a pretty normal one grain cart setup, is really kind of frustrating. So for everybody out there, it seemed to be working good to start with, but we've done a lot of harvesting here on some pretty normal-ish size fields and had a lot of issues with the latest version. So I would, from my personal experience so far, recommend holding off just a little bit. Seems like there's some kinks to be worked out. I'm super curious to see if our course still stands after we had to move the grain cart around to match up with the semi. It looks like we're getting corn into there, although I don't know that I quite understand how. That little sliver of corn going into the side of the grain cart there, I guess. Given how wonky Courseplay's been, I think we're just going to live with this. This is as good as we've gotten it so far. I do think that if I'm going to continue to use these grain carts, at a very minimum, I'm going to need to expand their size. But I have to be honest, I've had a lot of trouble trying to get them to line up with how short that tube is. I really think I'm going to be going back to the 1432s. That's a grain cart that has just worked for me pretty much flawlessly throughout my different series. I've never had these kinds of problems with that grain cart, so I'm definitely kind of rethinking things right now. I don't want to have to keep fighting with Courseplay for everything that I do. With any luck, when the 2596 releases on Mod Hub here shortly, that should be a pretty fun one to try out here on this map especially. So we'll probably give that one a try when it releases and see how it does compared to these. With that, we've got a full truck, so I'm going to go ahead and send him back to the farm. And this next semi should figure out how to pull up here. That seems to have worked pretty flawlessly. So I think we're in a good spot there. And we're going to go over here and just make sure that this guy figures out how to get back in here and going, unloading these other combines. With the new version of Courseplay, I always get worried when he comes out of combine straight on like this, he's going to get stuck in traffic. So I'm kind of curious to see if he can make this turn. He seems to be getting stuck. So we're going to do some more driving on our own, it seems. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot better way for me to see if there's going to be a ton of problems with a version of Courseplay without giving it an honest shot in a series like this. And so we've given it its fair shot, I think, at this point across a couple of episodes. It's definitely not a version that is super friendly, at least not to my gameplay style. And so we're going to roll back after this episode for sure. We've got another full cart here going back to the semi, and it looks like we're on our last pass on this end of the field. So I suspect that these guys are going to finish up that last section there pretty quick like. If I'm not mistaken, this guy did a pretty good job of following his course, so we're going to tell him to go ahead and do that again. We'll let him get going, and I'm going to come over here. I can't recall if the semi had a front hopper that was full. or if we needed a little bit more corn in this front hopper. Looks like we need a little bit more corn, which is fine by me. Our guy on the tillage here is probably about a third of the way done, because we've still got to get to the end. Would be halfway or a little bit less because we've still got headlands and stuff. If we look here, we've got a good pH level on all these fields. So as soon as we're done harvesting, we're going to get our lime spreader out here and spread a little bit of lime on field 16 and get that going. And then by that time, tillage should hopefully be wrapping up, and we can move that over here to field 16 and figure out how we're going to combine these two fields together. I think a good chunk of that, though, is going to have to wait for next episode. I think this episode, if we can finish up this harvest, I'm going to be a happy camper. I really want to see what our total corn yield is for the season across all of our fields. It'll be very fascinating to kind of get a feel for total bushels and do some napkin math on what kind of profits that's going to yield. In fact, we can go and look here at the precision farming screens in just a second and see that we've got yield estimates. If we come over here, based on our yield, they're saying that we'll be able to sell that corn for around $326,000, which is a $174,000 profit overall on the field. Although my tillage here is eroding that because there's fuel and maintenance costs for tillage. This is saying we made out about $24,000 of profit on that field. And so far, we're estimating about $71,000 of profit on the field that we're on now. So as we continue to get some more bushels off of that, this profit number should go up a little bit more. We're draining it from fuel consumption right now, but the more the harvesters run, I think the better off we'll be. And this guy is full, so we're going to go ahead and let him run back up to the farm here as well. Our next semi should come in. We don't quite have enough corn to do anything with it yet. And so I'm going to follow this guy along as usual and make sure that he can find his way back out to one of these combines without getting stuck in traffic. So our first combine has reached the end of the course here. Our other combine looks like he's got one row left to pick down the end of this field. So we're going to go ahead and stop this driver so that that rear combine can do his thing. And we are going to go ahead and pick up this little bits in the corner here because it really annoys me that we missed so much. And we're right here anyway. No sense in not trying to pick this up. See if we can do it without getting our header caught in the fence though. And we're going to go ahead and just drop this off right here in the grain cart. And then we'll see about getting the other combine emptied out into the same said grain cart. And we'll be all set to get this corn back up to the bin site and see what our total corn yield was for the entire season. I'm super curious to see what that's going to be. I have kept myself from checking the global company counter. I haven't looked at it at all this episode since we got started. And so I'm ready to check in on that as soon as we get this last truck up to the farm. All right, that's the last of the grain going into a semi here. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this driver here. And we're going to get this guy moving and grooving as soon as he's full. We are coming back up to the farm here with our final 618 bushels. So that's probably something like 25,000 liters. And I'm catching a glimpse of the scales here. We're going to walk over here. We're at... If I get close enough here, you can actually see the readout, but 900,000 and climbing. So we came in at almost completely full capacity. We're going to be just shy of 2 million liters across both of these bins. 1.92 million liters to be exact. And this semi does not need to drive all the way back up to the other end, so we're going to try and stop his course here before he takes off on us. And so, yeah, at 1.9 million liters of corn, we're in a lot of corn. And so now we're just looking forward to second, third day of winter here. See if we can get a good corn price. And we should also probably check on our pigs need to get taken care of next episode. And we're going to be working on creating a new field up here and kind of leveling this off, I think. So we're going to deal with all of those things next episode. And get some lime done, get the rest of our tillage done. Lots of odds and ends to do. But we are officially done with corn harvest. Woohoo! That's all for today. Kedrick?